Hello. We are back and we are here in time for the HBCU football preview. Been a long time since we've been in the seat. It feels good to be back and it feels good to be black. What's good, my brother?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We are back. I feel great, man. Appreciate the intro. That boy got the brew on tap. I am going to wait.
Oh, no. That's water. That's water. For y'all who don't know, I'm going to Costa Rica in a couple of days. It's hydration, baby. Uncle Norwood playing it safe.
Yes, sir. If you could do me a favor and put the names up there like you had before.
Oh, yeah. Coming down, right?
There we go. All right. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the HBCU preview episode for the 25-26 college football season.
Football
We
season.
we gonna talk about the SWAC and the MEAC in depth, and then we'll also talk about the only parts of the CAA that matters, Hampton and North Carolina A&T. And then later on, when we release some graphics and everything, we'll go ahead and pick our winners for the SIAC and CIAA. With that being said, we got a few things we're gonna talk about today. Where you want to start, brother? With the SWAC?
Hey, start with the Action Jackson.
Action SWAC.
Yes, correct. I'm saying Jackson State for anybody who didn't know, because they are the Action.
So with the SWAC, it is probably known as what the premier HBCU conference. It is the Black SEC, is what we call
all intents and purposes. Yes, correct.
The SWAC is the powerhouse. When it comes to the Black National Championship, the Celebration Bowl, I think they are back-to-back champions of the Celebration Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
Check box.
And they've helped the SWAC beat the MEAC 6 of the last 8 times in the MEAC SWAC challenge. 10-7 versus the MEAC over the last 3 seasons. That tells me that it's not just about Jackson State. It's not just about FAM. I think this league, and we'll get into it, has become one of the deeper division FCS leagues in college football.
Absolutely.
Period. So we gonna start out with the East Division. The 2025, the SWAC released the SWAC had their media day and they released their 2025 preseason poll. Pause if necessary. Jackson State in the East Division got 16 first place votes, beating out FAMU, who only got 3 first place votes. So in the East, Jackson State is the overwhelming favorite to make it to the SWAC championship game.
Yeah, I think yes, very much so. I want to be honest, and I want to say that this competitive. I think they're the overwhelming favorite to win the SWAC. I think that they're the team with the most continuity. TC has run a hell of a program since he took over for Dion, and before it was TC, it was Dion. So there's just been a lot of winning and success in this program, and I don't see anybody at this point who can knock them off this year.
Shit. I do think Jackson State they're an overwhelming favorite. Again, they had 126 points, 16.
Yeah, and I want to know who you think can.
Oh, FAM, but we'll get there.
And I think they're preseason 17 in the FCS. I think they're ranked 17 in the FCS overall.
Yeah, they are. They're ranked. They have 5 all SWAC selections coming back, including quarterback Jacoby Morgan, offensive line place kicker, as well as wide receiver Nate Rembert. So they are stacked. And one thing that Dion and TC has kept going, as you said, is the depth. They lost a lot of players, but they also have now, they're at the forefront, thanks to Coach Prime and TC, and that whole athletic department, they're at the forefront of transfers, of the transfer portal. They're the ones
I just say,
coordinators.
which kind of leads into my point of the first Mississippi Valley State receiver to have 1,000+ receiving yards since 2014 is Nate Rimber. So not only are you making it more difficult on your opponents, but yeah, just give me the best of what you have. I'll take it. And that's what they did.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. Now, what's interesting is they only had 17 transfers, which is crazy. That statement in itself, only 17 transfers, tells you the day and age in which we're in college football. Because I remember when it was 2 transfers, it was like, oh man, they got 3 transfers. Now 17 is a low number.
Yeah, this is free agency, baby. So yeah, everybody, but I think that is certain. I think that's a certain degree of being at the top.
Mhm.
And yeah, if I'm at the top, there's nowhere else for me to go but to FBS school. And if I'm not going to do that, then yeah, I'm going to stay where I'm at because we're probably going to win a championship. I can't hate that.
Yeah. Again, I think they even, and finally, before we move on, they even have the preseason offensive player of the year in their quarterback, Jacoby and Morgan. They
27 touchdowns.
are stacked. They have the elite quarterback combo. They going for 3 titles in 4 years. I don't. The more we talk about it, I said FAMU could challenge them, but
I'm glad that hey, I'm gonna let you believe whatever you want to believe, and that's the reason I just got on out your way. I do have a question before we get done with Jackson State though. If they win again, does how many more years does TC keep coming back to this job?
I think that the pipeline that's been established from HBCU coaches now going to division to FBS and showing how they're elite recruiters, I think he'll probably stay there 1 more year. I think because HBCUs get poached so much for talent now and that they know how to bring in talent, I think they are elite transfer portal recruiters, which is you're probably going to see in all the HBCU coaches that are now in FBS schools. FIU, Willie Simmons, Kennesaw State has one. Eddie George over there at forgive me, Kennesaw State, I forgot your name. Eddie George at Bowling Green. I think TC is going to be too good of a recruiter. He's too good of a wide receivers coach. He's too good of an offensive coordinator. He draws up plays really well, and I can't.
Coordinator positions are like the majority of those salaries are double what the head coach is, with with a quarter of the responsibility.
Yeah. Hey, check your microphone. And also, the gap, the coaching gap of experience and talent is way smaller than it's ever been between FBS and FCS.
Correct.
I think there you sound much better. I think TC is probably just as good or a better coach than most of them All-American conference coaches. Or he's on the same playing field.
Yeah, I've here at the SWAC, he can confidently say he's dominated. And that was always my biggest thing is you're coming into a good situation, but you're coming into a good situation with a ton of pressure. And the ability to navigate that and to be able to continue the success, that means 2 things. That means it is time for him to probably look for another position. And the next guy up, you got to keep this show going now. Because you had Dion and Dion to TC. The next guy got to step up and keep it going.
And you got to put him in position to step up and keep it going. That's something that was underrated by Dion.
I give him credit.
Set them up. He set up Mississippi Valley State. He set up FAMU with Willie Simmons, and not set him up to stay, but give them the opportunity. And then he set up TC Taylor, who everybody thought was going to be the coach before Coach Prime was there, and he kept his promise. So, I mean, you now have a responsibility, especially in the climate that we're in politically. We have a responsibility to look after each other. So, yeah, Jackson State, man, it's tough. It's going they are it, bro. They are the class of the SWAC to me.
Right. Funny that we go from the classes of the SWAC into another team in the SWAC. I think that joke was a little it was right there, but I didn't say it. See,
That's
right? See, that's the thing, man. Yes, but
FAMU's
we
not
are
ass, though.
no, not in the same, not like that, but. FAMU has had a lot of different things going on at their university over the last
Oh,
3
I
or
was
4
trying.
years.
Hey, I was like Kendrick. I was trying to keep it football.
Right.
You
But what I'm saying is when you look at all those outside factors, it has gotten into a point where, yeah, they're number 2. So you can't say that they've fallen off. But I think that the distractions are keeping them from competing for number 1 too. Coach
Yes.
Colsey has done a decent job with this, but their biggest thing is, and they kind of back to the same situation, is from last year they had a disappointing season. They have a current 3 quarterback competition, which you know how I feel about 2 quarterbacks. So 3 quarterbacks means you definitely have no quarterbacks. And to be going into the season still not having that identified, I think that makes things infinitely more difficult when you're playing against the guy who has 27 touchdowns last year. They won the league last year, and they're ready to do it again. And you're trying to identify your quarterback. That's a problem for me.
I got nothing to argue with you about that. You're right. You're right. Now, the thing about what do you do when your quarterback position is unsettled or subpar? You surround
Run the
them with
ball.
everybody else. Well, that too.
Uh-oh.
Or you go to the portal, but you surround them with everybody else. They have a preseason all SWAC
Great.
selection. They got 2 offensive linemen preseason all SWAC selections. They also brought in 21 transfers, 17 FBS, which means continuity no longer exists. But
Correct.
they also had Thad Franklin, who is preseason all SWAC, as a player to watch for a top offensive player for FAMU. So you have the running back. You also have all SWAC selections on the offensive line. That's whoever wins the champion, whoever wins the quarterback competition is going into a situation to where you just don't have to mess up. They got fast people. They always gonna have fast people at FAM.
And I guess that part for me is where I think that Coach Colsey is going to have to teach process more than you're going to have to be a process-driven team. Whoever walks through that door, you have to be able to replicate the process, since you're not going to have time to be able to teach, educate, grow players. So the best thing you can do is have a fundamental process. We got 3 of you guys. You guys need to look like robots. You know, I know what individually you guys do the best, but we got to come in here, and if it's the first quarterback or the second quarterback or the third quarterback, it needs to be seamless to all other parties involved. And I'm clearly right.
But I agree. It never gonna happen.
I mean, right.
And of course, Ashton Grable, I told y'all he's a NFL prospect. Him and TJ Huggins, who's the DB for FAM, who's a lockdown corner. And FAM, I mean, they 24-1 at home over the last 3 years. So I'm sorry, over the last 6 years. So it's crazy that FAMU is kind of like, I don't want to say Texas, because
you're in a bad. You know who they are? They're like Georgia before they started winning. Where
they won.
Yes, but also people have. I mean, I guess you could say they're kind of like Florida when we went that long time where the Florida expectation is a championship, and we just didn't have the capacity.
What is a long time? FAMU won 2 years ago, didn't they?
You're right.
Like that's the point I was saying. It's like they saying they need a bounce back year. A bounce back year when you came in second.
and that does highlight my point of the unreasonable expectation. But the other parties, you can't let Jackson run 3 of these things off in a row.
I mean, I don't think they let him win 2.
But what I'm going to say is, if not you, then who? I mean,
well, we'll get to the West, because ironically, Jackson State did not get all of the first place votes to win. Didn't get the most first place votes.
And you got your shiny shirt on for a reason. I'm happy for you. But I think that
Hampton I still ain't got no Hampton hat. I'm so upset at that.
FAMU, the expectation is so high. And it's really just the noise around FAMU that makes this what it is. And then you have Jackson State winning back-to-back. So it's not that the program is falling apart, and that's definitely not it. But there is an expectation to win. There is a program that is the flagship. We're trying to hold it on for them, but
This program's not falling apart.
right.
It ain't together.
Right. Hey, fam, you do the best you can, bro. We all try to do the best we can. We get it. You got any closing thoughts on them before we move on to Alabama State?
Hey, man. Nope, because I think Alabama State is the one that go make FAMU number 3 in the SWAC East. Good segue for that, huh?
Yeah. Tell me more.
Alabama State is my sleeper to win the SWAC East. They have Andrew Body there at quarterback, who was hurt last year. And at this point, 24, 25-year-old quarterbacks are kind of starting to become the norm a little bit in FCS. So, I mean, he was at Texas Southern for a while. He's now at Alabama State. Eddie Robinson Jr. is a good coach.
He is.
Told y'all I'm SWAC day one and been SWAC the whole time. So, their defense, they have a strong defensive team. And now, because Body is healthy, who is a dual threat quarterback, they have the offensive scheme and the defensive ability to slow the game down no matter who they play and just beat you up. Right. Which is what Eddie Robinson Jr., that's how he played in the 90s. So I could see them for sure being a problem. Now, fam, you got 99 points to make second place in the East Division. Alabama State have 91. So it's not like they're going to get blown out. They have 2 all-SWAC selections at offensive line. Again, we're just going to run the ball and beat you up the entire game.
Thank you for taking all of my talking points. That is exactly it. There are a team that's going to run the ball. No, I mean, it is what it is. They're going to run the ball. The defense is good, but the defense has taken some losses of just players in general. But if they can manage to get this defense as good as it's been in the past, and at the same time be able to do some ball control with running the ball, I think that they can be successful. You have to show me that you can be in the same conversation as FAMU and Jackson State. And I think that that's a 2-part thing. You got to do this season, and then it has to be sustainable because they fluctuate. They're right there. They teeter. And I feel like sometimes they're in the conversation and sometimes they're not.
You know what I mean? Tennessee. It's like Alabama, Georgia, and then like Tennessee is
excellent example.
State. They're they're almost there. They're always like there, 5-0, 6-0 in the SWAC. I'm sorry, not 6-0. 3-0 in the SWAC, 3-1. They're right there at the end, and then collapse every year. Something happens. So they've been consistently like the 3rd or 4th best team in the SWAC. This is the year
you got to get over that hump, though.
You got to. This is the year to take the next step. You got defense. You got a good coach. You got a good quarterback. I don't know nothing about y'all receivers, but it's the transfer portal. So
block, boy, block.
Hand in the dirt. We're going back to Tecmo Bowl. Put your hand in the dirt out there.
Hey, let me tell you what you're gonna be doing out there. Block, son. Find it. Put your hands on it again and again and again. That's what y'all gonna do. Next up, who we got?
A&M.
Yes, right? Yes, with head coach Sam Shade, new head coach Sam Shade. That should be interesting. Former NFL player Sam Shade, for y'all who don't know, and that is a reoccurring theme that I know that everybody wanted all these HBCU teams to have NFL coaches. They do. They might not be the same high profile as a Deion Sanders, but a Chris Dishman, a Sam Shade. If you're a football, nerd like me and Reggie, these names are readily and easily identifiable. They have a 7th-year quarterback. We are getting, we're running to
Told
the
you.
end of our COVID kids. Cornelius Brown has been playing for
Oh, that's
7
crazy.
years. That's boy. You should have undergrad. You should have bachelor's and a master. You might be Dr. Brown by the time you walk out of there.
With a wife, a child, first grade,
Right.
going back to school pictures, all of that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. You probably got a real job. And I come to practice, but I gotta go to work too. But I mean, that is a really, if you can have this, especially now when everybody's moving so much, to play quarterback for 7 seasons, you should have a leg up on almost everybody. You've been doing this for longer.
Yes. But I mean, yeah, I mean, if he just not starting. So
6 years of backup is crazy. But hey, get your education, big dog. But if I think that's also kind of reminiscent of what I think about Alabama A&M. I don't think that this is their year. I think that they're going to do what they can with what they got, but I don't know if it's nearly enough.
Over. So first off,
under everything, under the bed, under the dresser.
We will see. So Alabama A&M, this is a callback to the SplashCast HBCU segment from like episode 150 something, 60 something. Alabama A&M either have a 7th-year quarterback and then they have a freshman. The freshman's name is Jamar Graham. Why am I bringing up Jamar Graham? Jamar Graham is 6'9". He's a 6'9" freshman from Ellenwood, Georgia, that plays quarterback.
250. Yep, I started watching him on Instagram. I was like, "Who is this Black Jared Lorenzen?" Y'all know I like crazy shit anyway. I'm like, ain't no way. And he looks like an offensive lineman playing quarterback. And yes, I want to see it.
In all if you could think of an offensive lineman when they accidentally get the ball and then they like run forward, they don't have no moves. That's how he be when he scramble. He just run over everybody.
Hey, but he can chuck it. Hey.
So over under, how many games before we see him as the starting quarterback? Because I believe he on the depth chart, he's QB number 2.
4. You're gonna try it out. We not gonna be competitive anymore. And then at that point, I would need to look at their schedule to confirm, but I definitely think that it's not long, because the other part is I know people are on him like, hey, I want to see this kid play. We got this guy who's been in college for 7 years. We've seen all the tape on him that there is ever to see. If he ain't made it by now, he probably ain't gonna make it. And you have a offensive lineman sized quarterback. Yes, we want to see it. It made me follow him on Instagram when he was an 11th grader.
Yeah, he been 6'9" for like 4 years. Like he was tall.
Y'all remember when I first started putting it in the group? I'm like, hey, this kid is from Ellenwood. He's from around the corner, and this is amazing to watch.
So I am excited for A&M just for the prospect of seeing him play. I just want to see him on the sideline. He's bigger than everybody on the field.
Right. And if it don't work out, son, you can move to tight end for sure.
Tight end, man, that is an offensive tackle.
You're not going to go from quarterback to offensive tackle.
Oh, what's old boy? The best offensive tackle in the league was a quarterback in college for the Eagles. What's his name?
Oh, you're right. Man, the Eagles don't count. They go get Australian rules football players. Don't think they're not. They completely different. Completely different. They went and got
they different. They'll go get that's right up their alley to get a 6'9" quarterback and turn him into a tackle.
They went and got they got Jason Momoa and put him on the line. I was like, bro, that's Aquaman out there. Y'all just made it, and he can sing too, bro. Howie Roseman I don't know what he did.
Dylan, University of Florida grad, said it pains him to draft all those Georgia players. I said, you ain't say nothing about Alabama? You draft all them too.
And not now Florida player. Oh, CJ. He did get CJ.
Oh man, who's next? So Alabama A&M.
And no, CJ was drafted by the Saints, eh?
CJ Henderson?
No, Gardner Johnson.
Yes.
Drafted by the Saints, traded to the Eagles.
Because
you got to get how you can get him.
Yeah. He's drafted by the Saints, and So Alabama A&M, I expect them to be competitive. The storyline isn't about how much they'll win because I don't think they'll win much. The storyline is about them being able to maybe upset Alabama State and how long before we see a 6'9" freshman at quarterback. For me,
Magic City Classic, October 25th.
Oh, yeah, you know it.
Oh, and
right,
Las
Bethune.
Vegas Classic, Jackson State, Grambling, October 25th. Yo, one thing we got while I got a second here. Whoever's scheduling this, between this and the homecoming schedules, y'all need to be put in prison. Not jail, prison.
Oh, because everything is on the same day. What big man?
That's y'all put Hampton and Howard and Norfolk State homecoming on the same weekend. Prison
with military lockdown in DC. Right across the military base. We ain't
y'all go to Howard homecoming if y'all want to. Big T done sent the police out to DC and they just harassed me.
Big T done took the police and said, y'all stay over there. We have military. This is the National Guard out there. Never mind, I'm not gonna get political. Bethune-Cookman.
They need to get political. They need to get
got a first place vote. Remember, they were upset by Clark like last year. But then they also upset, I think they upset they had an upset as well.
Somebody's being petty. No, you know, one person don't know something that nobody else knows, brother. Let me tell you
that's probably the alumni who voted.
Yeah.
for Bethune. Y'all gonna get my name on one of these. But they ain't got nothing. They don't have no preseason all SWAC selections. They don't have.
They
are still rebuilding.
Nathaniel.
They do have Cam Ransom though. QB. They have a dual threat quarterback who is a sleeper for offensive player of the year. I don't know how you're a sleeper for offensive player of the year when you have nothing else on the team.
Don't worry about it, Cam. You'll be transferring somewhere else to play for somebody else. I'm gonna say the same thing. Mississippi Valley State. Just donate. Just send some money over there, bro. If there's one thing we can ask you to do during this time is support HBCUs through giving. That's all we got for them.
Build on it, Mississippi Valley State. Mississippi Valley State shocked FAMU last year. So I need them to, and of course they went 1 and whatever, or 2 and whatever, but I need them to, you just want to see progress. As long as we see progress, I'm okay with where you are because you literally started below the barrel, not the bottom. You below it. The barrel's sitting on top of y'all. So
yeah.
At this point, I just want to see progress. As long as we can see progress from there.
The biggest thing for y'all to do is since we've been podcasting, you guys have been the doormat. Y'all have, and y'all should be like beating Alabama A&M should be a stretch goal. Beating Bethune-Cookman should be that should be the it has to be the goal going in. We're gonna beat Cookman and Pine Bluff.
Yeah, it should be. I'm not gonna give them that much hell just because they were on their move to be better. They had Willie Simmons, and he was good. He beat Jackson State. He took Southern down to the wire. Like they were playing well, and Deion just said, "Oh no, come on."
And then on top of that, Mississippi Valley State, you lose your number one offensive weapon to the guys who already have everything. That is surely unfortunate. Thoughts and prayers?
Invest in it. We'll invest in it. So we can go to the East. Y'all know I'm gonna talk about it. The East, which is going to be the West, not the East. We just split the East. The West, which is going to be Southern, Alcorn. This is going to be your Louisiana and your Texas school. So the way the SWAC is separated is Alabama and Mississippi are the East, Texas and Louisiana are the West. In the West, Southern University received 17 first place votes, most overall, 120 points. Alcorn State, second with 2 first place votes. Prairie View, third with 1 first place vote. Texas Southern, Grambling, and Arkansas Pine Bluff rounding out the division. Southern University is stacked. They were actually able to keep a bunch of players. They brought in a bunch of transfers. Not a bunch.
Y'all
They
got
brought in a few
y'all got a quarterback
transfers.
this year?
Yeah, 4. But yeah, they got. Nah, they
If
do.
y'all
They
have
do.
listened, if y'all have listened to this podcast, one thing for sure that Reggie does not like is when they have a myriad of quarterbacks and they play the wrong one. So, as Reggie being the
Especially
resident
at Southern. They
expert,
did it for 3 years.
exactly. That's the reason I asked the question very plain and very clear. Do y'all have a quarterback?
Yes, they have a quarterback. Woods is from Georgia. Actually, he went to Woodward. He played well. He was just young, so he now has a full off season. I mean, he keep winning as long as he keep winning Bayou Classic, we good to go. But they are picked because they have a strong defense. So Kelby Givens is picked to be defensive player of the year. I believe he
They
was a
love him.
finalist last year, if not it last year.
26 and a half TFLs and among top sack leaders. That'll do it every time.
He's a monster. And that's just returning. So you have a good base with this team. The thing is, the depth is the part that's going to be difficult to match with Jackson State. Jackson State is too deep at every position. Southern is the preseason favorite, but they also lost 2 running backs, if I'm not mistaken. And they have a crazy schedule. They play North Carolina Central first. Jackson State, Fresno State, Alabama State are the next 4 games.
Woo! We begin to rock.
Now, the good thing is
Steady.
they play all of them at home. So by playing most of them at home, you have some type of advantage. But I don't know if it'll matter. But now they play Central here in Atlanta. I ain't gonna lie to you. That may be an ass whooping. Because Central is upset because they feel like they should have won the MEAC last year. We'll talk about that later.
Oh,
But
yeah, I think that they're gonna come in hot and ready with a chance to be like, you know what? We're gonna reframe this football thing and remind y'all who we are, because y'all have fought, because y'all forgot.
yeah, but if Southern can get consistent quarterback play and find a running back that is pretty good, I think that they can challenge Jackson State, but they got to do it early. And you got to win all the games you're supposed to win, Southern, because you ain't supposed to win against Jackson State. You ain't supposed to win against Fresno State. So you need to beat all them other teams. You need to beat Central. You need to beat ASU. So
Win the game. Yeah, you're right. Win the games you're supposed to.
If you win the games you're supposed to, you'll be fine. You'll end up back into the championship game against Jackson State, a rematch, which is always a good game, no matter, except for that 1 year. Except for that 1 year.
Yep. For me, it's very simple. The offense at the quarterback position has to be most consistent. You know, we joked about it last year. I knew it ripped you to shreds to just not have the right guy on the field consistently. That is going to be the main focus. And can the defense be as strong as it has been, you know, be able to get on the field and get off the field consistently? Those are the things for me that are most important. But I think that this team lives and dies at the quarterback position.
100%. 100%. Who else we got next? Alcorn. Ha!
Second in the West. They got 90 points, 2 first place votes. It should be an interesting season for the Braves. I think they've done pretty well in the portal. And then they have, I cannot pronounce this guy's name, Stemorion Edwards leading the defense.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you say that.
Yep. Stemarion.
Sure. That's what we'll say.
All of them. Mr. Edwards. I think that this team is, I think that they're okay, but I think their biggest issue is Prairie View and Tremaine Jackson being hot on their tails. I know they did well in the portal. It should be interesting to see if they've done well enough to maintain that second position. I am afraid that I think that Prairie View has the roster to take that spot from them. I don't know if Prairie View can can get to the level of Southern in their first year, but I think that they can possibly pass the Alcorn Braves. What do you think?
I don't know nothing about Alcorn. I know about Jacorion Sewell, who is the returning off. They have a good offensive line, is what I'm trying to say. They have a good offensive line and they can run the ball, which is always the beginning of the equation. But you got to be able to push the ball down the field because you're gonna have to be able to score points, and that's where they struggle. Jacorion Sewell, Ronald Brown, and Stamarian Edwards. That's cool in terms of running back, offensive line, and linebacker. Where are the other skill positions? We ain't talking about no safeties, no cornerbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, nothing. That is alarming. Now they do have some good defensive transfers, some FBS players transferred in to play defense, but they're gonna have to figure out how they're gonna be able to push the ball down the field on offense. Now, if they figure that out, they could again because the SWAC West is so crazy. All of this ain't gonna matter by week 4. By week 4, it's just gonna be all tossed up in the air. It don't matter.
I agree.
But Alcorn is gonna have to figure out a way to push the ball down the field in order to be competitive. To me, and I agree with you. And that goes right next into Prairie View. It goes right next into Prairie View. Prairie View is poised to take the SWAC West. Quietly as kept. I think with all those transfers, I think with Tremaine Jackson coming from Valdosta State with the pedigree that he has, being from Houston, having the track record of Division I transfer recruiting, of being in the local area in Houston and knowing how to win. I mean, they brought in 39 transfers, 24 FBS players. 39. Exactly. I think they're going to be ready. Now, if he can get the continuity down, which is what you always sacrifice when you rely on the transfer portal, if he can get the continuity down for Prairie View, that's the sleeper of the West. I told you Alabama State was the sleeper of the East. Prairie View is the sleeper of the West. They are a sleeping giant.
I can't consider them a sleeping giant or a sleeper because their coach has talked so loudly. I think that this is an extremely well-assembled team. They have been in the media. He is very intentional. I will say he's done a pretty good job of marketing this team. And feather in his cap that I don't think people have paid attention to. There's no FAMU on this schedule. There's no Jackson State on this schedule. So yes. It's a very friendly schedule for him to come in and be successful. Now, this is where the rubber must meet the road. You already have taken basically the top 2 teams in the league. You don't have to play them. You got to win these games. And this is an opportunity. If you win all of these games, you're going to the championship.
Yeah. And they got Texas is Texas. They got a strong alumni base out there regardless. But if you can win, oh man.
And out of all of these fan bases, I am very familiar with PV. They are a rabid fan base. They love their school. They spend that money. They do whatever it costs, and they actually go to the games and support. This is like, and for me, everything hinges on the coach. He's done a lot of talking. Now it's the point where you have to do a lot of winning, and you've been presented with the ideal opportunity, and you got all these kids out of the portal. So this is your chance.
Yeah, you got everybody out of the portal. There is nothing returning for you.
Exactly.
But it is what it is. So PV would be all right. And then you have the other 3 rounding it out.
Exactly. TSU, this is Chris Dishman, another former NFL player, head coach. This is second season. I think that the opportunity for him to get this season after, when he came in, there was the big fight between Andre Johnson and I can't think of the other guy who they had already hired, who was supposed to be the coach. And then that just went to shit. And when that went to shit, at that point, they were just, by the time they hired Dishman, guys had got in and out of their recruiting classes. He's just kind of fixing it on the fly. This is really what I would consider his first full season because you get to recruit your players, you get to put this program together in the way that you wanted to with time versus, hey, I've been hired, y'all ready to play football type of thing. So that should be interesting. Once again, this is not a team that needs to win a championship. It will be good for them to see some incremental growth positively. And if by any chance TSU and Prairie View play well, that will be great for the city as a person who lives in Houston.
We ain't got to worry about that. Texas Southern going to be terrible. But what they can do is hopefully.
And they got their quarterback, KJ Cooper, back.
If they can win enough to buy him some time to be able to implement, because of the ready-made culture of winning in football now, because of all the avenues you have of improving a roster and everybody wanting to have Coach Prime essentially. I just hope that the patience is there to allow that he wins enough. I don't know how many he's going to win. I don't think it's going to be much, but I hope they win enough to where they give him enough time in order to build that program back to where it used to be.
And that's the thing that I think that he deserves. But this will be my only thing is Texas is one of the most unique places football exists. There is enough talent in this metro area for you to put together a good team. 100,000% between this state and really honestly just this city. There are enough guys everybody's not going to all of these schools. Ain't no way.
Yes, they are. Y'all have all the schools. They have,
but that's what I'm saying.
They spent $100 million. San Antonio
right.
and UTEP.
And Texas Tech spent all that money. But what I'm saying is, you're right. God, and TCU and Texas A&M. But even with that being said, there are still so many athletes. You can put together a team. I get that there are a lot of schools here. Sure, you're right. But as much as that is, Texas is a big ass state. And there are plenty of kids who can play football that you can recruit against. And you have the ability to stay in the city of Houston. Do you really want to go to El Paso to play football? Hell no.
Yes.
Now
they're going to pay El Paso. If you pay me, they just paid that dude $2-3 million. I will be there on Monday morning.
They ain't got but so many $2-3 million to pass around. Let me tell you that. Everybody else gonna get regular, minus Texas Tech. Texas Tech got the richest man under 40 in the state of Texas. Ain't nothing you can do with that, but just pray, because he spent that money like it was going out of style. Nothing for Texas. Texas Southern, Grambling, bruh. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing?
Now this is a team I really don't have any notes on. Grambling is struggling, rebuilding.
Let me tell y'all what the notes are. 15 HBCU national titles, 27 conference championships. When they don't have anything to talk about present or future,
laurels, lean on them.
It bad for you. It very bad for you.
Let me tell you my notes. Needs identity. That's it. We don't know what they're good at on offense or defense.
Correct. In Pine Bluff, y'all are the Mississippi Valley State of the West. As long as me and Reggie been podcasting, they've been in the same spot.
They've
been
bad.
The bottom.
I ain't never met.
I hate that.
Bluff. I never met a former NFL. Oh, there is one. Teron Armstead. I never met a former Pine Bluff player. But there's Teron Armstead. Everybody else I know that went to Pine Bluff has.
And that was the last time they were.
Outside of football.
Right. With that being said, that closes out the SWAC. It was surely something. And I'm still convinced that I think that at this point, Jackson State is the top of the tops, and everybody is trying to figure out how to beat TC. And I think they're probably praying that TC gets another job somewhere at the end of the season. And I think that's highly likely.
Yes, sir. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a little break, and then we'll come right back with the MEAC and CAA. Y'all stay tuned. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. See you soon. Hey, SplashCast fans, are you ready to take your obsession to the next level? Join the SplashCast community on Instagram and our own Facebook page for an immersive experience like never before. Get in on the action with lively discussions, fiery debates, and a community that's as passionate as you are. Our social media platforms are buzzing with the latest podcast news, exclusive updates, and behind-the-scenes sneak peeks. Don't miss out on the chance to connect with fellow SplashCast enthusiasts. Dive into the conversation, share your thoughts, and be part of something bigger. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, or go to www.splashcast.com to join now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our HBCU college football preview episode 2025-2026 season. We just talked about the SWAC. We are now here to talk about the MEAC. And kind of talk about the teams and what they have going on and who we have winning or sleepers or all of the good things. So let's go ahead and start out with an overview. First time in history, the MEAC is coming off 2 Celebration Bowl losses. Everybody I know that went to a MEAC school has always held that the MEAC plays real football. The SWAC is overrated. Well, the SWAC has had something to say over the last few years. I am excited for this year, just like last year, because now there are 2 juggernauts and 2 sleepers, as well as the celebrity coach and all of those things that we'll talk about. Before the first time in history, every school received at least 1 first place vote to win.
Somebody's lying.
Somebody lying. I think it's the
Let me tell you, if everybody got a vote, that means that the person coming in last got a first place vote, and that is unrealistic.
But it's definitely a top heavy conference right now. South Carolina State, North Carolina Central, by far and away are the best teams in there.
And have been. This is not something new. Since Chennis has taken over, South Carolina State has been right to the top, and Central has been there. They were there before, and then now that South Carolina State has taken the pole position, Central has taken that second spot, and I expect this to be their year to try to fight back a little bit more.
They remind me of FAM a little bit in the SWAC.
Yep.
Central was the team before Chennis got to South Carolina State. They were dominating the MEAC.
Right.
Running back after running back. They ran a couple teams up out of them.
After a running back after running back after running back.
Some say they ran a couple teams up out of the MEAC. Some say, not me, but some say. But that team in Durham, Central, has been the favorite for years. But now that Chennis is there, they are fighting. And if you remember last year, Central played South Carolina State at the end of the year. I want to say to win the MEAC, or that was going to put them in, whoever won that game was going to put them into control to win the MEAC. And Central was upset that they lost. I mean, the coach went off. He was cussing out everybody. He didn't care. He's talking trash. He talks trash when he wins. He talks trash when he loses. So I say all that to say, I expect Central to be on a mission this year. But in order to be on a mission, you got to deal with that man, Orangeburg, Chennis Berry. We're going to start out with South Carolina State. 5 first place votes, 63 points. All the MEAC selections, they have strong. I think the thing about South Carolina State, they lost both of their defensive ends, and they were the strength of their team, if I'm not mistaken. So they do have a veteran group, but they have a tough schedule early. But they should be, and they are my pick to win the MEAC. I'm going with the home team. Got to go with Orangeburg. I got them winning.
Yep, they went 9-3 last year, undefeated in conference play, 5-0. They got 3 all MEAC selections: Jared Washington, Josh Baker, and Roger Smith. They have all the continuity in the world. They have all the championship pedigree in the world. Chennis is putting on a masterclass. If you want to see what it looks like to be an HBCU coach, rising up through the ranks, he does not lose regular season games. He hasn't lost a conference game in 4 years.
4 years. He went undefeated 3 times in Benedict in the conference, and then he lost. He went undefeated in the MEAC last year in his first year.
So for me, it's very obvious that they're the king of the castle until knocked off. The other question, just like I asked with TC, how much longer does Chennis stay at South Carolina State?
Chennis is built different. I think he loves HBCU sports, kind of like TC. Really, he's really the mirror image of TC when you think about it. I don't think he'll leave before he builds South Carolina into a powerhouse. And when I say powerhouse, I don't mean just winning. I mean, for a long time, South Carolina State was the recruiting powerhouse. They put a linebacker in the league for like 4 or 5 straight years.
Shaq Leonard, he was there just recently.
So, and then we ain't talk about the defensive line.
Right.
So I think he's gonna want to rebuild that juggernaut, especially with the way that that whole athletic department and football team and administration is so close knit. How Buddy Pugh is still involved. He talked to the team in this offseason. Coach Willie Jeffries, he got to be 90. Still involved. Was at the talking to the team.
Yeah. That's what you want is that's a football program versus a football team. A lot of these organizations are teams. It's a new guy, new thing. No, we have consistency, and even after our most heralded coach leaves, he ain't gone. He right around the corner, but he also gets out of the way of Chennis, who is, like I said before, this is a masterclass on every level of how an HBCU football team needs to be run in 2025. My thing, I get what you're saying that he's built different, but I also think I agree with you. I think he's built different. I think that he's a guy who, you know, how I feel about my own team, the Florida Gators. I would love to see Chennis with Florida. I think that he is a guy who is specifically built to have a high chance at being a high achieving Power 5 coach.
100%.
You know, I think that, you know, the especially now with no Nick Saban, so everybody's just not falling off the Nick Saban tree. I think that this is an opportunity for a guy who, I mean, honestly, what can you say to a guy who does not lose regular season games? I would like for you to coach my team. I would like to not lose regular season games.
Here's another thing, though. He's so good of a coach. I don't know. And he's been so good of a coach for so long at the head coaching position. I don't know if I'd be willing to take a step back and be a position coach to get my foot in the door. I'm already a better coach than all of the position coaches you have. So it's a test of ego. It's a test
of. You think that somebody will, like a lower tier school, would take a chance on him, like they like essentially like what Colorado did with Deion? I think that, please don't take this the wrong way, Lord. I think that Chennis Berry's coaching dossier resume is better than Deion's. I think that Deion is a master marketer. I will give him that all day. I also understand that due to his time in the league, he has partnerships and friends who are NFL guys who are willing to go to Colorado and go to Boulder and coach. But if you told me I had to pick an X's and O's guy between Deion and Chennis, I'm leaning towards Chennis heavily.
Yeah, I don't think there's a dispute if you actually watch football that Chennis Berry has a better resume than Dion. Pause. The fact that Chennis Berry is definitely a better X's and O's guy than Dion is what you need, but that's kind of what you need in a coordinator. You need a leader of men to be your head coach, and I think he's a better leader of men than most. I don't know if he's a better leader of men than Dion, because Dion gets the best out of a lot of people.
Absolutely.
But in terms of building a program, you know who he reminds me of? A better version of Dan Quinn. Like, he builds a culture around, but he has the X's and O's and stuff to follow up, and he's very involved with the game plan, where he's not a CEO coach. And I think that's what's going to get him to the next level. But I still think it takes 2 years to do that. 2 years.
If you're looking at the Madden sliders and you're picking a coach, he's a balanced coach. I know what I'm talking about, but I also get the CEO part of this. My marketing is impeccable. He is stomping out everybody else in HBCU football in the way that he markets and the way that they put everything together. But I'm also an excellent recruiter. I'm an excellent X's and O's guy, and I pick a hell of a coaching staff. Those things, to like, he's just good everywhere. And I think that if some of these schools get out of their own way, they would, and thankfully, I mean, I guess now it's the Kirby tree that you probably just go pick a guy off of now instead of the Saban tree. But I think that it would be refreshing, and I think that he could have the way that Dion was a breath of fresh air for Colorado. I think that Chennis Berry could do that somewhere else.
Yes.
Now, I don't think
Florida State be boo-boo again.
Right. Now, I want to be very clear what I'm saying. I don't think that he gets you 18 million college applications like Dion. No, he ain't going to do that. But what he is going to do is, I think he can stabilize the program. I think that he has a good eye for players. I think that he also has a very good networking demeanor. One of my close friends, Curtis Blackwell, he runs Sound Mind Sound Body football camp, and we were talking about the different coaches. He was like, this is a guy who super professional, but also very comfortable, talking to coaches, networking with coaches, and all of that. And I think that he is, I'm not going to call him a diamond in the rough, because he's what I think the heads and shoulders in the MEAC, but I think that to the rest of the football world, they might not see him yet. And I think that he can fix a lot of people's programs. And Florida, yes, fire Billy.
Yeah, but Florida's not. Shout out to racism. Florida's not going to go get the best MEAC coach to replace the worst
I'll
SEC
take Teddy
coach.
Bridgewater. I want anything. I'm desperate.
Central Florida will be right there for Chennis, though. Hey, come on down, Orlando. Come on over.
Right. Or I will say this. You said that, maybe don't want to be humbled and be, a position coach. You read my mind. Go over there and be with your boy. Go be with Willie. If there is a guy who you're going to work with, and I mean, that's a twofold system. Either we can work together and you can have this job and I can set it up for you, or you come here, be here for 2 years, be my coordinator, and then I will help you get to another job. Either way, it is two guys coming from HBCU culture working together to uplift each other. And I think that will be really scary for the rest of the world.
My conspiracy theory tells me that the powers that be won't let that happen. Oh. But we'll stay out of there. We spent a lot of time on South Carolina State, so we're going to move on to the runner-up for me, which is going to be North Carolina Central. They got Walker Harris. I believe he's affirmative action. And then they got Luke Bracey and Noah McKinney as their offensive standouts. They look like they're
Malcolm Reed, Trayvon Humphrey. They got them. They got him over there.
They got a lot of returning. That's why my next note. They got a lot of returning players. But they also play a hell of a schedule.
Right.
Boy.
Ain't no joke.
But if they could get through that schedule, and Walker Harris is as good as everybody's hyping him up to be, y'all, South Carolina State. I picked South Carolina State, but I ain't picking by like 30 points. I picked them by like 4.
Right.
And it can go the opposite way real fast. Their first test is a good one against Southern. North Carolina Central against Southern on the 23rd. That's going to be a great game. Spread offense versus a power defense. If Central can get defensive stops, I don't know if there's a team that can stop them from scoring 21 points. I don't know if there's a team in HBCU.
I agree. And that's the thing for Walker Harris. I mean, yeah, Walker Harris he's led the league in efficiency. So yeah, I'm not going to make a ton of mistakes. And if you guys get some stops early and beating Southern to start the season will make your team feel a lot better going into the rest of these games. Hey, we beat them, we can beat you too.
Yep.
So
they're revenge tour. That's it. Go ahead.
Yeah, they got a loaded roster. My only thing is, can you push South Carolina State? Can you really make it difficult on them and possibly knock them off?
May be able to. They may be able to, but that's still my number 2 team.
I agree.
Now, I'm not going to say this is my sleeper, but this is my spoiler. Morgan State is going to spoil somebody's season. I don't know who's it going to be. I don't know who or what, but they have the preseason offensive and defensive player of the year pick in Eric Hunter and Jason Collins Jr. They were good last year. They kind of fell off because they have a strong defense. But I don't know if they have the firepower to be able to beat Central and South Carolina State. I think they were playing games that it was like 13-7, 9-6, like 2000 Baltimore Ravens type games. And they were winning some, but if you could score on them once or twice, it's hard for them to play from behind.
Right. Jason Collins Jr., 24 breakout season, 634 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns, 17 receptions for 143 yards. Then you have Eric Hunter, veteran playmaker, Buck Buchanan Award finalist, FCS All-American. This is my issue with Morgan is you guys are y'all win all the individual awards, preseason, postseason. That does not matter. Taking trophies home that are not championship trophies don't matter. And honestly, it becomes an indictment on the coach because you have so many All-Americans every year. That's the reason I went back and looked last year. Loaded roster, loaded roster, all of those All-Americans. And then you're not in the same class, South Carolina State and North Carolina Central. And I don't have a good explanation why. It's not the players. And if it's not the players, then I'm open to the explanations that you got.
Well, if it ain't the players, there's only other.
We began to rock.
I ain't gonna say it, but I will say Morgan State is on the clock to take the next step. You don't have to beat both South Carolina State and Central, but you do got to at least make it. You got to get
yourself in the same conversation. You have to put yourself in the same conversation, and I think that you got to beat one of them because the issue is you have all the All-Americans, you have the Offensive Player of the Year, you got the Defensive Player of the Year. Then why don't you have the team to win?
Yeah, y'all got to figure it out because let me tell you, y'all ain't gonna have all them players for long, and that's not a shot. But there's 2 teams who got 2 coaches, celebrity coaches that are young, millennial coaches. I want to say, isn't that millennial? Yeah, millennial coaches.
Yeah, for sure.
That have NFL experience and the backing of the community and raising money. And Deshaun Jackson with Delaware State and Michael Vick with Norfolk State. They're gonna get. Huh?
Go ahead.
And they're gonna get a longer leash per se, so that they won't get fired. So they'll be able to build that program. Michael Vick went and took Hampton starting offensive tackle day 2. So they are, and they're gonna have the same relationships with players, up and coming college football players and high school players that are sons of NFL players. They're gonna tap into that the same way that Notre Dame is. If you go look at Notre Dame, they are recruiting all former NFL players' sons. Norfolk State and Delaware State now have that in, and they can do it as well. So,
and the other part is they're going to pull the Dion. I'm going to call all my NFL guys. Hey, come coach in Norfolk. Come coaching at Del State. My point was, Morgan, out of all of these teams, you're in the most unfortunate situation. I'll tell you why. South Carolina State, North Carolina Central, they are the blue bloods of this. They're not new to this. They're true to this. They're well-oiled organizations. Then you have Delaware State and Norfolk State, who are the new kids on the block, but they have shiny new coaches that came from the NFL. They're going to get everything. The Eagles just opened up to let them play at Lincoln Financial. And then you have Howard. Even though Howard's a bad football team at this point, they're in D.C., they're sponsored by Jordan, they get all of the love, they get all of the money, and then it's you. And you guys aren't competing for a championship, and you have all the players in the world. That ain't going to last long. And if you don't know that you need to win sooner rather than later, then it's already too late for you.
Yeah.
I hate to be doom and gloom, but that's life.
We can talk about all of them together. Then, yeah, Morgan, you got to do that. Norfolk State and Delaware State, they do have the shiny new toys. We'll see about their continuity, but
they ain't gonna be good.
What you really need, I disagree with what you said about Howard. Howard may have the best defensive line in the MEAC this year. They got everybody coming back, and they brought in transfers. So if there's we saw with the Eagles last year. The Eagles could have won the Super Bowl last year without Jalen. No shot at Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying that. Don't try to shoot me. What I'm saying is,
get him. All y'all getting him. Get in there and start.
What I'm saying is that defense was so dominant. That defense was so dominant. That defensive line with the Eagles was so dominant that they could have won with just them. Right.
Reggie
similar
said
to
Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback, and then the Eagles didn't need him. Attack him. I'm weaponizing my platform.
Whatever, that's fine. I don't care. It's football season now. I got all animosity. Y'all can bring it to the forefront. We out here today.
It feels good. I can smell the grass. Bring on the shit talk, baby. I'm back. But, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. It's football season. What y'all talking about, man?
But yeah, it's unfortunate for Morgan because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you win a lot, then you kind of spoiling the storyline of Norfolk State and Delaware State, and you really shouldn't care.
That's not my problem.
You are sandwiched in between all the storylines and all the good teams.
Fight back.
Y'all just supposed to be there. Y'all need to have this is what Morgan State should do. If I'm the coach of Morgan State, first spring weightlifting session, you know they don't care about us, right? We ain't even supposed to be here. It's about Norfolk State and Deshaun. Delaware State and Deshaun, Norfolk State and Mike Vick. It's about Chennis and South Carolina State, North Carolina Central. Nobody's talking about us, and we have allegedly the 2 best players in the league.
Norfolk State doubled their ticket prices. We didn't.
So
when was the last time they won something? Are all their players even eligible? There's it's smoke time. And yes, especially as a head football coach, you're right. If I can make a story, I will Michael Jordan this. I will Shaquille O'Neal. Yep, David Robinson never autographed. I ain't never met David Robinson before. I will make up a lie, in a heartbeat. And I think that the other part is you're not getting the coverage. The only issue is y'all got the players. So if you talk it up, you have to walk it.
They can beat them. I mean, and they're just like I said about Alabama A&M and Alabama State. They are built to beat you up. And at the end of the day, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. If you beat me after I punch you in the mouth, Is what it is. But we ain't about to be scared. Ain't gonna be no tiptoeing. No tiptoeing.
And this is the other part, is that you can write your name in the history books. Oh, Deshaun Jackson, beat him. Michael Vick, beat him. Oh, Chennis Berry in South Carolina State, who won for the last 2 years, beat him. North Carolina Central, beat him. If you do that, you put yourself in.
You'll be looking for. You'll
put yourself in the national spotlight, and also two of y'all will be in the NFL somewhere. I'm a firm believer if you do that.
Yeah,
because people are going to.
You'll be looking for a new coach.
People are going to have their eyes on Norfolk State and Delaware State because of the coaches. And if you could go in there and then do something to Central and South Carolina State, yeah, I think it's well earned. Yep. Now, as far as I'm considered, I'm happy for Norfolk State. Congratulations on procuring your head coach. Congratulations on getting a couple of Hampton players. But at the end of the day, I think as much hype as you guys have, I don't think that you guys have it on the field. And that is, and that'll be my talking point for Norfolk and Delaware State is, will people's expectations be reasonable?
I don't care. Norfolk State, we got smoke. Y'all not gonna win. Y'all NIL is sponsored by Black and Mild. We know what it is. Swisher Sweets is the guys that pay for y'all stuff. Y'all gonna be out there in Tobacco Road cleats. I don't care. We talk all the smoke. Shout out to Mike Vick, bruh.
And if you don't want your coach all in the video dancing on the field with his football jersey on, bro, let that go. You don't need to put no jersey on. Put your good polo on and a visor, Mike Vick. It's too many Mike Vick jerseys for me. With that being said, I'm still a big fan. But I just don't think that they're gonna be that good this year.
They're not. All jokes aside, they're not gonna be that good. I think unfortunately their schedule's kind of tough too. And I think the gap between North Carolina Central, South Carolina State, and everybody else is so big that there's
Grand Canyon big.
You just trying to save face. And I think
you here so you don't get fined. Let's keep it real, bro.
Yeah. And Morgan State gonna beat y'all into submission anyway. So right. It is what it is. But we are now going to move on. We're not going to take a break here unless you need to.
Oh, no. Oh, well, Howard, I don't think that y'all are.
I said we got the best defensive line in the country. That's it. Y'all stay safe. Curfew.
Delaware State, boy, got y'all. I'm happy y'all got Deshaun. Maybe y'all can put him. He got some eligibility somewhere because that's all y'all.
They about to get beat by 70 against Delaware. I can tell you that.
All right. For first sure. Game. Blue hens.
But yeah, so before we move on to CAA, I don't think who do you have winning the SWAC? The divisions. Is it Jackson State or Southern? That's who I got for the divisions.
Jackson State and yet to be determined, but I guess you would have to pencil. Yes, it's got to be Southern. Southern, yeah.
So I got Jackson State as Southern, and then I have Jackson State winning the SWAC.
Me too.
And MEAC, I have. We already know Central and North Carolina Central and South Carolina State, and I got South Carolina State winning the MEAC. So I think that was all the same. I don't really have much else to talk about for the MEAC. If you want to move on, we can move on to the.
Oh no, we're going right on to Hampton and North Carolina A&T and A&T Shaw.
Now we're gonna move on to the CAA just to talk about the two black schools, Hampton and A&T. I think A&T's picked to finish last in the CAA. Hampton is about middle of the road, if I'm not mistaken. Right. No, I'm lying. Hampton is predicted to finish 11th. A&T is predicted to finish 14th. Now Hampton has a lot of depth, which is kind of crazy. They got a lot of depth. Front seven is questionable. They have no returning defensive tackles. Not one. But they do have a prolific offense, running back, as well as a few transfers and wide receivers from Furman, James Madison, and then they got defensive players from West Virginia and James Madison as well. So again, transfer portal is the ultimate equalizer.
Paramount.
But I don't think there's enough for Hampton to really do any threat in the CAA. And come
now, that's where I'm going to start. I was able to actually go to the Hampton coaches caravan when they came through Houston. I got a chance to sit down with Coach Boykin and kind of pick his brain for a little bit. And during the caravan, they kind of get up and talk about different things. And he was very clear. Hey, at this point, NIL is the front runner here, and it is of the utmost importance for us to raise money so that players can be paid. There's no other way to put it, especially in the CAA where you're dealing with teams who have, I'm going to say tons of money, but they have more money than us. In order for us to be, yes, in order for us to be competitive, it is going to be highly, highly important that we focus on NIL in order to get these type of players. I do like Coach Boykin. You know, he kind of took over in the situation where we got where Prunty was, I don't know if he was let go or just whatever it was some kind of weird divide. And it was late in the offseason. And he kind of took over and did pretty well. And then last season, this is his second season. Yes. So in this season, he's trying to normalize processes. He's got some guys. You got Jaquan Snipes, the running back who's really good. You got Omari Allen and Jalen Williams Thomas, who are both good offensive linemen. Still not ready to, I think, compete at the top of the CAA, as I think the top of the CAA is probably too good to be in the CAA. And as the rest of these conferences kind of move real estate and move from place to place, I think that those top teams in the CAA will probably be getting out of the CAA. And I think the CAA has too many teams in the conference right now at 14. I think that they're probably better suited for about 12 to 10 teams. And then that will put us closer to the middle. But
back to the MEAC.
Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth, Reggie. As I look at this and you look at the MEAC, which is a 6-team conference, and then you look at Hampton and North Carolina A&T, who are in the CAA, and I understand it from a financial point of view. There are more views because the CAA has a bigger profile to the world. I think that it would be better if Hampton and A&T went back to the MEAC. You could split the MEAC into the East and to the West, and you could have 2 4-team conferences. Now, the other part about that is the MEAC has to do a better job. And Hampton and A&T are in this weird, unique position where I think that they would like to go back to the MEAC. I think it's probably better for their week-to-week competition, travel, etc. Or I guess travel ain't that bad, but being in a conference where you could possibly win it. Football is king, and at this point, we're not good enough, and A&T is not good enough to compete to actually win this championship. I think the MEAC would be better, but I mean, me and Reggie tell y'all every week, it's difficult to get the MEAC to post the scores, to post the games before. You look in the SWAC, they have, I think they're going to have 18 games, or it's either 18 or, I think 18 games.
They have their own streaming service now.
Exactly. And that's the difference, is the MEAC seems it's still slow moving. It's still not. When it comes to those type of things, they're not ready. So I understand the hesitancy between specifically now A&T. Y'all been the doormat since y'all got in there. Hampton is actually better than some of the teams in the CAA, and consistently has been better than some of the teams. Not many, but some. But I can understand how they're hesitant to go back to the MEAC, and you haven't seen the MEAC do the changes that we've needed.
Yeah, 100%. So, no breakdown. They're not going to win the CAA. They're not going to be close to winning. But I would love to see them go back to the MEAC.
But I do
I
think
would
that they're
like-
going to beat their. I think they're going to beat their HBCU counterparts. I think that Hampton's going to beat Howard. I think they're going to beat Norfolk State, and we mostly okay with that. Especially if the MEAC don't. I just wish the MEAC would take just steal from the SWAC. Just do whatever the SWAC is doing. Do that.
Now A&T does have a few returners, and they brought in some good transfers. They got now the quarterback situation. I don't understand. They brought in 2 quarterbacks, one from Maryland and one from FAMU, and they still have not named a starting quarterback. They did bring in a lot of help on the defense, so I expect for A&T to be better. Is that low hanging fruit? Because they were 1-11 and 0-8. So I mean, to be better is 2.
Yes.
But I expect them to at least show a semblance of life and improvement. And that's all I'm looking for. They're going to party, but y'all need to at least be competitive. But that's, unless you got anything else, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the HBCU 2025-2026 college football season preview. We didn't miss anything, Norwood. Take us out.
Only thing I'm missing, I wanted to highlight this because I wanted to make sure that we really talk about how often this happens. Terrell Buckley is the head coach of Mississippi Valley State now, another former NFL guy who's been on multiple staffs. He has a ton of different pedigree with that, and we want to highlight that. But outside of that, we have covered all of the historically Black colleges and universities. First thing first, send some money over there. Send some money. Support HBCUs. Support Black creators. Support the podcast. Show it to somebody else. Outside of that, we thank you guys for rocking with us. We will see you guys soon. Reggie is back, and we are out of here. Adios, mi amigos. God is love. Until we see y'all again, y'all be safe.